Okay, good morning, guys, and welcome to another episode of our morning analysis session. As you all know, we're basically trying to get opportunities in the market, and then you guys get to see my entries and exits, basically my Forex strategy. Yep. So let's get started proper. Fundamental wise, we actually have only one news that's not played out yet. We have one high impact news on USD by 3 p.m. So that's the only thing we should worry about for now. Yeah. We already had high impact news on NZUSD and then GBP So let's jump on our charts and see what we can get. Now, let's start with AUD Now, if you look at AUD hope you guys can see my screen and hear me clearly.
Yes.
Okay, good. Sec. So now we basically had, we're having that whole uptrend on the 4H, higher high, higher low, more or less higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Price created higher high, higher low, failed to create another higher high. It's like more or less this more higher low here, failed to create another higher high. Then we broke the higher lows to the downside. So now we've more or less shifted towards a bearish market on AUD one, now bearish. Now let's go to the 1H and see where we can look towards sell from. So now if you look at what happened here critically yesterday, yeah, price basically created this high. Now after this high, price went down to break this low to the downside. That was a shift. We now formed a lower low, pushed up small, formed what? A lower high. Yeah. Then we pushed and created what? A lower low. Now, if you look at what's happening here, it's more or less price is doing what? A range, because we've pushed up, tried to create a lower high, tried to create a lower low, but we failed to create another lower low, and then now price is more or less pushing like it wants to what? Go up. Now, if price breaks this small lower high here to the upside, we can more or less be looking at a potential shift in market structure. Do you understand? But at the same time, where can we look to sell from? Because the 4H is what? Bearish. We have what? This zone here. That's the first zone we can look to actually sell from, this one here. Now, why am I highlighting that zone? That was basically the support that was price actually broke to the downside. And then now we can look to see that whole potential for this support turning towards a resistance. So it's more or less price broke it to the downside. Now we can look for a retest and then what's a continuation of the sell. Do you understand? And if you plot your Fibonacci from that lower high to the lower low, you see that what the 0.618 is just inside that area. So it's actually a nice confluence for us to look for a sell at. Do you understand? But honestly, I'm going to be entering conservatively. Now let's look at NZUSD. Now this one is actually very interesting. So it's no, how will I put it now, secret that on the higher time frame, we have actually shifted towards a bearish market. You understand? Now let's go to the 1H and look for where we can actually jump on ourselves. So we created this low yesterday. Price pushed up to create a lower high. We pushed down to create a lower low. But then the way it's looking as if this whole move to the downside is what the creation of the lower low. Because if you look at it critically, there is no clear, how will I put it now? There was no clear lower low and then lower high. Price basically just sloped to the downside. Do you understand? But now that's why the whole thing is very technical for me right now. Because if you actually plot our Fibonacci from the high to the low, you see that our 0.618 is just there out of nowhere. Like it's just there, nothing there to actually look to say, okay, we're aligning it with. We just have this area here, but then it's not what a recent zone. It's more or less like a far zone. But let's see something. Let's go to the 4H. Is that okay? If you actually look at it from the 4H, that zone is actually aligning with the low that was broken on the 4H. So it can be a potential place that will look towards sell from. Do you understand? So it's just to wait and then see how everything is going to play out. Do you understand? So now let's just wait. Price created a lower low. Let's wait and see if price will go backwards to create that lower high there for us to take the sells to the downside. So that's basically what we have on NZUSD. Yeah. Is there another pair you guys want us to take a look at before we go? I've looked at all.
FEG, please.
Okay, good. I think GBPSD2 is bearish currently. Yeah, GU is actually bearish currently. So if you look at GU, actually broke to the downside yesterday. We had a break, nice retest. Yeah, and then price has formed another lower low. Do you understand? Now price is basically retracing back up. Nice one. So now let's plot a flip from that high to the low. What gold? This one is even a nice setup. I'm actually going to set an alert on this one. I might take it. It looks too beautiful. So now you can see that our 0.618 is actually aligning at that support that was broken. This whole support here that was broken to the downside. Do you understand? So now we can basically just wait for price to tap inside. Then we look to take the sells from there towards the downside. Any other pair you guys want us to take a look at? Now we actually have a setup on GU. Any other pair you guys want us to take a look at? Okay, let me see. So nobody wants us to look at gold. Let's take a look at gold. I'm just doing it because based on popular. No, I'm not going to say anything about
Yes,
it.
please. Let's look at gold, please.
Gold is still very, very much shitty, honestly. So if you look at the structure gold is doing, normals, I like trading structure. Do you get? I'm not going to wake up and trade out of nowhere. Gold created this high, we broke to the downside, and then we more or less retested immediately. And then I honestly don't know what this move to the downside here is.
Gold is a very confused pair.
You get? So I really don't want to even say anything about this. It's just lock up for now. Let me see.
How about EURUSD?
Okay,
I was on buy yesterday, but I closed early.
let's take a look at
Early.
the markets this week entirely have not been giving me opportunities to actually enter. The only opportunity I had, say, NZUSD distracted me. I could not enter. So we had this more or less higher high, higher low. We failed to create another high, and then we broke the higher lows to the downside. And then we immediately more or less retested. If you actually see, price went back there to retest these lows here. Do you understand? And then it's basically pushed to the downside from there. And then now it's looking like price has created the lower low. Price is going up to create a lower high. And then what? A continuation to the downside. What I'm going to say about this is that, let me see. If you plot your Fibonacci, if we plot our fib from here to here, yeah, price is just tapping that 0.618 level. Do you understand? It just tapped it. Let's see if is there any entry criteria on the lower time frame. There's actually an entry criteria on the lower time frame. Let me see. Is there any shift on the 5 minutes? Not yet. But then what can we look to do? Yeah, if you look at the 15 minutes, there's actually a candlestick confirmation there. We can look to take a quick sell from here. The keyword there is what's quick, a quick sell from there. Yeah, a quick sell, stop loss just above there, and then we target the lows down here. Do you understand? So we can look to do that on EURUSD right now. Hey, I'll see I'll go and transfer. I don't have.
Previously, what is the confirmation? The candlestick confirmation. I was thinking it's just
look at the bearish pin bar there. This one here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Price tapped inside the zone, and then we had that whole bearish pin bar confirmation. So we actually have a setup on this thing on EURUSD. So many pips stop loss? 8 pips stop loss. It's more or less a 3 hour. So that's the setup we have this morning. Is there any other pair you guys want us to take a look at? Any other pair you guys want us to take a look at? So in the absence of any other pair, yeah, we'll basically call it a session, yeah? You guys should have a very wonderful trading day. Let's see how this setup is going to go, yeah? I'll catch you guys next week on Tuesday. Bye, guys.
Okay, sorry, please, before you go,
Yeah.
we have news today.
Yeah, we have news by 3 p.m. Please don't
Just
over
3 p.m.
leverage on this setup. I beg. Don't over leverage. Just risk what you can lose. Simple as that. If you don't have anything you can lose, just leave the setup.
Is it 3 p.m.? Like just
Yeah.
3 p.m. or
Yes, it's by 3 p.m. See the news here. It's by 3 p.m.
okay, is it affecting USD pairs?
Yes, it's on the USD.
Okay, okay, no problem. Thank you very much.
No worries. No. Later, guys.
Yeah, how about one? I'm seeing the one with 130 GBP.
What?
There's one GBP I'm seeing there, like 130 AM PM.
130. There's nothing by 130 is on USD, but it's low impact.
Okay, 3 p.m. Thank you very much.
No worries. Now later, guys.